ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh yeah, no.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So, of course, this is the time of year when you have to change insurance if you're on one of these things where you have a window to change. So we had a little bit of stress on my daughters because she's been paying Cobra since she turned 26, and it is ridiculously priced. So I finally, I thought she was going to get a full-time job between her birthday and April and now, and it did not happen. So I've been shopping around for her because, of course, I am the insurance caseworker in my household. And, trying to figure out what would be a realistic thing for her that she could afford to pay and that would cover most of what she needs to have covered. And so I finally found something. We put the application in, and then it's like, we'll let you know if you're approved. And the time is ticking down. The window is starting to swing. So we finally got approval this week. She got the email that she was, that they are going to allow her to pay them money. So, yay!
Oh, that's great.
That was a big relief. I feel like I have successfully accomplished that. And we just got the letter in the mail today confirming the changes we made on my husband's insurance. So we are going into the new year with considerably less coverage than we had before. Yay!
But coverage
And a lot less money. It was getting to the point with my husband's insurance because we were spoiled for so long because when he had his supermarket job, he was in a union and they had terrific insurance and we didn't have to pay much for it. But now it's like he pays half and the company pays half. So his paychecks were these measly little paychecks because so much was going out to the insurance. So I finally said, you know what? Let's gamble on being reasonably healthy and take a cheaper version of this and not, be paying huge amounts and then not using it. So we shall see. I'm hoping that I am not cursing us to a year-long medical nightmare because we chose the cheaper insurance for everybody. That's a pleasant thing to be thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much more we're paying for our insurance, compared to how much my husband's company used to cover. It's crazy.
It's really changed.
In terms of the monthly amount, as well as things like co-pays and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I've been immersing myself in that and then, trying to figure out what is the most reasonable balance of having paycheck left at the end of the pay period and not having to pay through the nose whenever you go to the doctor. So it's a whole world of thinking that I liked it better when I didn't have to do.
Yeah. Let's all move to Canada.
Seriously, but then in Canada, you wait a year for your specialist sometimes.
We Americans don't like to wait.
My father-in-law has been waiting a year to see his urologist.
Oh,
yikes.
God.
That seems like a long time if something is wrong with you.
Yeah, I think, if something's really, really, really serious, they'll obviously get you in faster.
Please hold on to that kidney stone for a year, sir.
Yeah. So, you know what? I shouldn't complain because it is absolutely free.
Well, yeah, that's what the trade-off is, There's always a trade-off.
And on the end, though, there's, the taxes. We don't talk about the taxes that we pay to subsidize it.
This sounds like a whole different group chat topic, which I would like to pursue. But meanwhile...
whole other conversation. So let's get back to today. How about today's podcast? We have a whole other topic. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Nicole Erdix. And with me today are Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
And Terri Morrow.
Hello there.
Today on the podcast, we are going to discuss kids speaking up for themselves at the doctor, talk about holiday decorating on our Friday speed round, shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup, hear part 2 of our interview with occupational therapist Meghan Corridan, and do some shameless self-promotion. But first, what's new with you guys?
Well, Terry's insured.
Yeah, I'm insured. Insurance is important, y'all.
Yeah.
And more importantly than Terri is insured, Terri is done with the months of agonizing over what would be the best thing to do, which my family allows me to do completely by myself.
And
Nice.
free of charge. They don't give you a bill.
Not even a lot of appreciation, because usually by the time I'm done with it, I'm like a raging stress monster. So they're like, just pick something. Go away.
Anything.
We don't care. How do we insure ourselves against you, lady?
And then, but that means they have to take their own selves to the doctor too.
No. That's getting into our first topic, though. Let's just fly into that topic. Yeah, in addition to being the insurance caseworker, I am the medical caseworker and the person who's responsible for picking doctors and taking people to doctors and talking for people when they are at the doctors. And I did not go to school for this. I did not sign up for this. I'm not good at this. Somebody else should be doing this, like the person themselves. But we thought we would talk today about how one transitions kids from mom being the person who is in charge of their health to them being in charge of their own health, which as they get to be teenagers and young adults, they're really supposed to be. You should not still be going with your 26-year-old to the doctor and talking for her, right? I'm not supposed to be doing that. And yet. So I thought I'd talk to you guys. Do you have kids who are getting into that age where they're supposed to advocate for themselves and where the doctor is supposed to like close the door in your face and talk to them about sex and things? Do your kids talk to the doctor, or do you still have to be Dr. Mom impinging on those appointments?
I'm still in the room during the appointments.
In the room where it happens.
In the room where it happens. And I used to always take my two for their annual checkups at the same time because their birthdays are so close together. So their annual checkup would be, held at the same time. But I finally, a few years ago, was like, I think I really need to let my almost teenage daughter not have to share her appointment with her little brother.
Yeah.
So that was step one, was let's separate the two of them and give them each their own appointment. But I'm still in the room for the appointments, and they're pretty good. The doctor and the nurse are pretty good about trying to talk to the kids directly instead of going through me. But, a lot of times the kids just kind of look at me like, how do you know the answer to that question? Like, how much milk do you drink in a day? They look at me.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know how much milk you drink. I'm not with you all day.
Yeah. You are the keeper of the answers.
Yeah. And I know that that's probably not the way to go.
Yeah, I just don't know how you pass that on. I mean, my kids are not great at communication. They never have been. So I've always been kind of speaking for them. Because if we bring my son and he's the only one talking to the pediatrician, nothing would happen, or he would talk about her keys for 45 minutes. So I kind of have to go in there and make my presentation. And even now that they're adults, I have a hard time. I had my daughter go to our GP, and I said, you go in there and you talk to him. Here's some paperwork you can bring to show him that would give him some information. And even then, he came out into the waiting room to talk to me. So it's like, I am obviously not doing a good job of enabling them. How about you, Nicole? What are your kids? Does your son just take care of that by himself? Does he even go to the doctor? Do you know?
Yeah, I started having him, make that step when he was about 16, 17.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a pediatrician at that time. It was just a general family doctor. So anyway, so he started taking himself to the doctor. And then, of course, if I needed to be there for anything, like for permission or, for tests or anything, then I would show up. But so he's been doing that on his own. And he does go to the doctor regularly just for, we'd like to keep on top of skin issues because of the sun down here. So I make him go to the dermatologist every year. And then I still make him go for a checkup every year. So I don't know when and at what point I will stop reminding him. I probably never will stop reminding him to go. So. But my daughter, interestingly, though, when we first met her pediatrician, and I remember thinking, this is so rude. But the doctor would only talk to my daughter. Yeah. Like she would address me and she'd be, hi, how are you? Uh-huh. And then she started asking my daughter questions and, talking to her. Anytime I tried to say something, she'd kind of look at me with this sigh and look back at my daughter. And so what has happened over time is that my daughter now has a very good rapport with her and is used to talking to her.
That's great.
So she, and I do have to thank the doctor for taking that stance of I'm going to encourage my patients to talk with me. And so she's basically trained my daughter to to have conversation with her. So
that is ideal. I wish more doctors did that. We always had doctors who would just turn to me. And it may be because of my kids had communication issues, but I really, really want, I mean, I feel like now that they're adults, I want to find them a doctor who's going to listen to them and who's going to be comfortable with that. And I haven't, and I don't know how you seek that out, especially for kids with disabilities. You know, people who are used to working with kids with disabilities, I feel like often just don't take their healthcare seriously. You know, it's like, well, okay, you know, it doesn't really matter for her. So I don't like that. But somebody who's not used to working with people with disabilities doesn't want to have to do the work to understand the speech. No. So it's really difficult. But I would have loved having some place that is saying, Mom, you sit over there if you want to, but I'm going to talk to your kid.
Yeah.
That has not happened. That is a very, very good thing. Even though, as a mom, it makes you feel like, hey, wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah. But and that's how I felt. I was like, oh my gosh, she's not going to tell her everything. She's going to miss things. But, you know, eventually, and thankfully the pediatrician brought the issues out of my daughter and they were to have that conversation. So, yeah, I'm really thankful for that particular doctor and her group, because they all do, you know, they all have that philosophy of having the child speak for themselves.
Right.
But I was just thinking, you know, she's going to be 16. I should probably start weaning myself away from the room.
Yeah.
And having her go in by herself. So.
Yeah. My daughter's 10 years older than that, and I would like to do that.
But I've had this issue. My kids don't want me to not be there. So how do you balance that with, like, okay, I know you want me to be there, but it's for your own sake. You know, you need to try to do it by yourself. That's hard too, especially if maybe they're nervous about being at the doctor in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like you should maybe be able to, like, email the doctor with all your comments, or like write them out on a piece of paper and send them in with your kid, so that you can still be there without, like, physically being there.
That's a good idea. Writing it down.
I've actually, the last time I took my son in, and I wanted to talk to the doctor about him, and I didn't want my son to hear what I wanted to say. So I called first and told the nurse, you know, like, here's what I want to do, or here's what I want to talk about, so that I don't know how well it worked. It was okay. I think the doctor generally got the information that I wanted to convey.
I've done that too. I've told my daughter, I'm going to give the doctor this document. Is it okay with you? And she says, fine. And when I hand it to the doctor, I kind of point to the part that I want the doctor to notice that I don't want to say out loud. There should be some, in our brave new technological world, there should be some way for us to be in the room without being in the room.
Yeah, I mean, I guess more doctors are doing email and, you know, online communication, which ours, it's like a whole thing with logging in and knowing your password, all this. Like, you can't just open up an email, you know, on your desktop. You know, you can't just tap out an email and send it. It's like a whole thing where you have to be a member and you have to have a special ID and password and all that stuff.
And I know there's patient confidentiality issues too. You know, if you've ever tried to, well, neither of you have had, well, maybe you have, Nicole, tried to deal with the insurance of a young adult, and my kids don't want to call and ask about their claims, but it's like they have to get on the phone and say, yes, it's okay, you can talk to my mother. You know, I feel when they say, I'm sorry, we can't talk to you about this, I feel like saying, you know what? Great. I'll put my kids on the phone, work this out with them. Have a good time.
Enjoy.
You're going to be begging to talk to me, lady.
Enjoy their particular communication needs.
That's right. But I think, I mean, any kid, any teenager, you know, or any young adult is probably not going to be able to articulate to the insurance company exactly what they want to talk about. Yeah. So, you know, I am the case manager. There needs to be some certification for mothers as case managers to have some legal standing. To be able to talk to the doctor directly and be able to talk to the insurance company directly.
Or at least some kind of nice, you know, business card or title.
Yes.
If you can.
Yes. Do you guys have to, how do your kids feel about going to the doctor? Do they go willingly, or do you have to push? Nicole, when you tell your son to keep going to the dermatologist, does he ever say, you know what, don't feel like it, go away? I get a lot of that.
Because I successfully passed my health anxiety onto him.
Oh, gosh. I don't seem to have done that. I have passed many other types of anxiety onto my daughter, but health anxiety, she's like, no, I don't want to. And it's like, well, I can't really force you, but I really, and then how do you say, really think you should do this without then making them worried? Don't want to panic you, but we go to doctors. This is what we do. This is why we have insurance. It's not a big deal. Just go.
It's sad, but we had a real rash of unfortunate illnesses in our work. And so I think my kids, obviously they saw that, they heard about it. So they're all a little bit, we're all very aware of being preventative to some extent.
You would just sit them down in front of a few episodes of Grey's Anatomy and they'll want to go to the doctor.
Yeah. So no, they're pretty good. And actually my son will even book his own appointments. If I say it's time for your dermatologist appointment, he'll book it himself. So
That's
he's
awesome.
he's
But
good.
you have to say it's time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still only 20, right? So he hasn't really taken on that. Only 20.
Speaking of only 20, this is a topic for another episode, but we'll go out on this. How much do you have to push your husbands to go to the doctor? And would they like you to go to the doctor with them and talk to the doctor for them? Because I'm pretty sure my husband would if I offered.
My husband's okay. He's pretty good about it, actually, I have to say.
Yeah.
He'll go.
They manage their own
Now,
medical
will he
issues.
listen to what the doctor recommends? It's a
That's another thing.
different story.
My husband never wants to go to the doctor for anything. And I remember one time he had the flu and he was really sick and he said, okay, call the doctor. And it was the doctor's day off. And I left like a message on his answering machine saying, my husband never wants me to call the doctor and he did today. You have to call me back. And he did. And it was, he just called in a prescription. It was no big deal. But it was like, this is my big time. I can do it. And you're not available.
You're messing up my perfect
That's right.
opportunity here.
Let's move on to something more cheerful, shall we?
Yes, how about holiday decorating?
Is that more cheerful? Perhaps
That's so
it is.
cheerful. Absolutely.
For some.
For our Friday speed round, we thought we would talk about holiday decorating and whether or not you do it at all. How much do you do? Do you do the inside, the outside, both, neither? And when? Are you like, does it go along with your policy on holiday music, which we discussed in a previous speed round? Like, Terri, do you do all your decorating on Christmas Eve?
I do, actually.
Do you?
You know I do,
Okay.
yes. I am at the last minute, and even then there are Christmases where we think, should we really do this, or should this be the
Like,
year we
why
just
bother?
stop altogether? I used to decorate outside. That has gone away. I used to try to put it up a couple of weeks before. That has gone away. Now it's like, oh, shoot, it's Christmas. We should put something up. So often it's Christmas Eve. Sometimes it's sometime in the week before. We're going away for Christmas this year. I don't know if we'll put it up at all, now that I think about it. But and then it stays up till like Valentine's Day. Yeah. So we're procrastinating both in the putting up of decorations and the pulling down of decorations. And every year it gets more minimalist. It's every year there's more stuff left in the boxes that go back up in the attic because it's just, I don't know. I have friends who are really into it. I had a friend who posted on Facebook yesterday with her tree with its hundreds and hundreds of lights, and good on ya. I think it's really nice. We always did it in my house growing up, but it's not a priority really too much here. My kids don't seem to care really all that much one way or the other. The dog is not happy because the tree goes in front of the window that she likes to stand at. So she is all for just being done with this silliness.
Yes, our Christmas tree blocks the window. That is the dog's lookout point.
Yes.
In our house too. Well, we also are going to be going away for part of the Christmas break, and so my husband's like, really, we don't need to do this. We usually do an artificial tree that's on our screened porch, and it's just for the lights.
Yeah.
Because it looks really nice out there.
Yeah.
And then we do a real tree inside.
Oh.
Yeah, I like real trees. I do not like fake trees. But his idea is that we should put the fake tree inside this year and not do the real tree. The children are not in favor, and I am not in favor, but he may win this one. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we totally have a fake modular tree that we put together. How about you, Nicole? What do you have out there?
A palm tree?
Yeah.
Throw a couple of lights in the palm tree.
No, we have a fake tree.
Is it green?
It's green.
We had a white fake tree when I was growing up.
Yeah, no, none of that fancy stuff. It's just straight up green. And actually, I pulled it out yesterday when I think that's probably the earliest I ever have. And slapped it together and put some decorations up and a few other little things around the house. My husband will put lights up, but you know what? And that's pretty much how it goes. We have one tree and that's it. It's not, there's nothing it's not a big ordeal to get done. Let's just say that. It's not a week-long process that I know. My neighbor, she has 3 trees. She has 3 artificial. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
And decorates all 3.
Some people do enjoy it.
I guess so, but
who are those people? No,
we are
like
full
it.
of the Christmas spirit.
I do like decorating, and I like having decorated. Let's say that. I like having my stuff out, but then having to put it away is considerably less appealing.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, we've just having moved so much over the years, we've eliminated a lot of stuff, so we really don't even have a lot to put out. I haven't accumulated it yet. So, but I do enjoy the season. It's just, and it's me doing all the work, right? Nobody else wants to pitch in and help.
Well, my children are happy to help put the tree up and the decorations out, but when it comes time to put it away, never mind, we're busy.
Yes, isn't that?
Although I kind of like to put away the stuff because otherwise it's just going to get all chucked in a box, and it's never going to come back out again in the proper way.
Chucked in boxes, and my husband brings like one fewer box down from the attic every year in hopes that I will forget.
To see if you notice.
Exactly. And we have like a big shopping bag full of ornaments, many of which are breakable. It's amazing that they're still in one piece.
One of our most important items is our Santa Claus in and out house. It's like ceramic. It goes in the bathroom every year. That's important.
I have another friend who actually keeps her Christmas tree decorated, and she just moves it out into the garage when it's not Christmas.
I love that idea.
That is smart.
If I had room, I would do that. Totally.
Yeah, throws a sheet over it.
That's awesome.
And then just brings it in.
See, my style would be just to throw a sheet of it over it and leave it in the living room. And then just... Except the dog would not have that. We'd have to move it to another corner.
But I'm thinking, like, is there a way that we can just keep all this stuff around the house?
Yes.
Unveil it at Christmas time?
Yes, that is the way to go.
Do you do any outside, Nicole? You said your husband will put up lights.
He'll put up some lights, and I think we have a few of those little white metal frame deer things. Twinkle. But it's pretty pathetic compared to what else is around here.
I bet.
What seems to be very popular in our area right now are those projector things that you point at the house and then it looks like it's snowing, or it just has like little green and red dancing lights on the front of your house, which the first time I saw, I was like, whoa, that's pretty neat. And now I'm seeing it all over the place, and I'm like, done, over.
Yeah, we have a lot of that going on too. And then, just lots. People really love their lights here. Just a lot of them. Actually, you know what is really cool? We do have 3 of our palm trees lit up, which is kind of cool. It's fun.
Oh, that is cool.
Like white light, rope lighting, they call it. And it goes up around the trunk of the palm trees.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
Very California. So, yeah, that's it.
Very good. All right. Well, I think that will do it for our speed round. But remember, you can hear a new speed round every Monday through Thursday.
So now we bring you some of the things we've read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you. I talked a little bit on our round 2 a while back about having seen Moana, and we're going to talk about it more once Catherine gets around to saying it. But just for the purposes of this parenting podcast, I just want to give it a big shout out for being one of the few Disney movies I can think of in which there are living parents all the way through.
Ooh.
There is a mother There is a mother, not a stepmother, not a evil queen disguised as the mother. There's an actual human mother. Okay, she's voiced by a pussycat doll, but still, there's a mother. And she survives the film, and the father survives the film. There is one death in the family, but it's not dramatic. So I'm sorry if I've spoiled things for you people. If, the arc of a Disney movie is something sacred to you that you want to find out for yourself, we all know what happens. But anyway, I want to say, go in feeling good about the fact that the person who represents your part in a family is not dead in this one. I appreciated that a lot.
That's good.
How about you, Catherine?
I was just going to mention a friend of mine has a blog called Magpie Musing, and she did just a little post on people watching in New York City, and it was just really fun and made me miss living in the city, so I wanted to call that out. And also, just for silliness and fun, you should be watching Martha and Snoop's potluck dinner party
on
VH1. This is Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg having a cooking show.
Of course it is.
And it is hilarious. So check that out on VH1.
It says something about where each of their careers is, but
they are they are friends. They are for real friends. It is very charming. So
that does sound actually somewhat delightful.
It really is. So check that out.
And what do you have today, Nicole?
So I just watched this movie a couple weeks ago. It was such a great movie. It's not really for young children. I'd say probably young adults, but brilliant movie. It's called Hunt for the Wilderpeople. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but
I've heard of that.
It's a movie by a filmmaker from New Zealand, and there's a young actor in it. Anyway, it's got such a great message, and it's humorous and just a nice, fun movie to watch on a weekend afternoon if you've got the time. So,
cool.
Yeah,
sounds like something to check out.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then we're going to move on to other delightful things, toys and gifts. We're going to hear again from Meghan Corridan, our favorite pediatric occupational therapist. Last week, she talked with us about some of the new toys that she has found for her annual gift guide. And this week, she wanted to spotlight toys that help kids build social and emotional skills. So she has some really good suggestions here, and we're going to bring that to you now.
Okay.
So I'm here again with Meghan Corridan. Say hello, Meghan.
Hi.
And she is going to join us for part 2 of our discussion of her annual holiday gift guide. She's collected a ton of really great ideas for different toys and games and activities that you can share with your kids at the holiday season. And specifically this week, we want to talk about some toys and activities she's found that help kids learn about emotions and build social and emotional skills. So why don't you start, Meghan, by telling us a little bit about why these are important and helpful, and then spotlight a couple of the ones that you've found.
Okay. So I think there's a lot of reasons I decided to do this section this year. This is a new one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been part of a program called the Meeting House, which is a recreational-based after-school program for children with social special needs. And one of the things I've learned is that kids are not always born with a natural understanding of emotions and feelings and basically how to be kind.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted to focus on it. I also think we're living in a little bit of a world where kindness is not necessarily we're seeing a whole lot of these days.
All right.
So I just thought it was really important. And the more I looked around, the more I noticed there's just really great things out there for kids to teach them about this really important skill.
Great.
So one of the first things I found is actually a toy store in my neighborhood sold it and actually recommended that I come and take a look at it. It's called Make a Face, and it's a wooden puzzle. It's by this company called Moon Picnic. It's a great way to teach kids about feelings and emotions. It's very simple. It's a wooden face, and it comes with 7 or 8 parts, eyes, mouth, nose, eyebrows, and cheeks. And you can flip them over and there's different paintings on each side. And I did it with my daughter, who this isn't something I'm concerned about with her, but just thought I would test it out with her. It was fun to see how, like, just by shifting an eyebrow, how, people could see that you're feeling a different way.
Mm-hmm. It's nice that it has that level of detail, because many, I think so many like face, mood recognition kind of activities are pretty basic. Yeah. And I just think that, like, we just need to help kids be able to read people's visual cues. I think so much of how people communicate these days is not face-to-face. And I think that because of that, kids are having a harder time, especially older kids are having a harder time sort of being able to guess how somebody's feeling or how they're reacting to something they're saying. So I think if we can start at a young age and just teach them like subtle facial cues and this and that. So it's not only a great way for identifying feelings and emotions, but it's also a great way to sort of be able to have conversations with kids on how they can change how they're feeling or change how they're behaving so people might feel better. Or I just think there's a lot of ways that conversation can sort of go on past just whatever you do with these pictures. Right. For much younger kids, I found these really cute wooden eggs by this company called Hape. And it's just eggs with different emotions. And they can either use the eggs to express how they're feeling, or it comes with a book that kids can match the eggs to and hear stories about. But for just real young kids, it really just points out like someone's happy and this is why they're happy, or they're feeling silly and this is why they're feeling silly. So and there's like, they can hold on to it. I feel like you can probably come up with a lot of really fun games with it too. So you can probably expand it. Right. Find different ways to play with it and stretch it out.
Yeah. You can have an egg race with a kid and I just think I tried to find things that could sort of be more than a one-trick pony.
Right.
So there's a great company called Peaceable Kingdom. They have stickers, they have cards, but one of the things that I really love about the company is their commitment to collaborative play and cooperative games. Mm-hmm. And one of them is called Friends and Neighbors, the helping game. And in this one, they learn about empathy through matching problems and coming up with solutions. So they take turns pulling tokens out of what's called the helping bag, and they see if the token they have can do something to help somebody on the game board that they have. So what's nice is you can do this individually, or you can have kids try and fill out one board together and come up with as many solutions as possible to sort of work together. I think it's great for kids to hear other people's ideas and solutions to things.
Yes, definitely.
I'm trying to just see. So last week I talked a little bit about it, but it was the Many Moods of Me journal, which I just like for older kids who may have a difficult time talking about their feelings and expressing their feelings. And this is a great way for kids to sort of be able to write down how they're feeling and at the same time develop some good creative drawing skills and graphomotor skills and I think just gain a better understanding of who they are and how they react to certain situations.
Right, and just having a private space to call their own, I think, can be really appealing for kids.
Absolutely. The last thing I found was there's a company called Craft-tastic, and they have something called the Friendship Kit. It's an art kit with 9 different activities. And the point of the activities are not that you make them for yourself, but you make them for other people.
That's nice.
So often, I work with kids where we tell them we're going to make a card for somebody, and they're like, no, I want to make it for myself. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand. It's like, I put all this work into it. Why can't I keep it? So the whole point of this kit is you sort of think about who you're going to give the activity to before you actually finish it, which I think is a really important skill. Where kids are so used to getting things, that we have to really teach them about giving and how that might make people feel.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love the idea that it comes with the intention of you're going to give it away, so that they kind of know that from the beginning. And like you said, they think about before they begin, who would enjoy this, or how could they share it,
right?
With who? Nice.
So I'm sure there are a million more out there. I think this is sort of something that's just evolving so quickly these days. So I look forward to seeing what kind of products come out in the future. But for now, these are the ones that I think are really the best.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Meghan. We really appreciate your talking with us about this and putting together this gift guide, which really has so many ideas, and I'm sure it was a lot of work to put this all together.
Just to hear from people that like they had no idea what to get their children, and then felt like they were just given some guidance. It's funny. I work with somebody whose mom sells toys, and she's like, I never know what to get my kids, so this is me every year. So I love doing it, and I love the fact that it can help so many people.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Everybody can now go out there and get shopping. And we will talk to Meghan next month about something else new and exciting in the world of toys and activities.
Can't wait.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
So now we have all of our shopping lists ready now that we have heard Meghan's ideas. So that's awesome. We're all ready for the holiday.
Okay, and now for our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. So what are you bragging about today, Nicole?
I've been fortunate enough to have some books given to me by Brooks Publishing. Nice. They are books that are written by Julie Causton, who's very big in the inclusion world that I work in, and she's actually signed them. So having a holiday giveaway, just to say thank you to people that are following the inclusive class. And yeah, I'm giving away 4 Julie Causton books that are all signed. So check out my website, theinclusiveclass.com, and learn how to enter.
And when does that end?
Actually, I'm doing a book a week until Christmas.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah, and they're all books for parents, teachers, schools.
Excellent.
Yeah, some great books in there.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Catherine, what do you have for this week?
I wanted to just mention a piece of mine on VeryWell that I just updated recently. It's pedometer activities for kids. So if you are Christmas shopping or tromping around looking for a tree, or maybe just shopping, your kids could wear a pedometer and they could be entertained by seeing how many steps they get. And we also have some other suggestions for things to do while they're wearing a pedometer, so check that out at VeryWell.
Well, speaking of shopping, I think I mentioned last week that I have a couple of articles on the Friendship Circle blog about gifts, special needs tools and toys you can buy on Amazon.com if you're shopping there and need something to get you up over that free shipping limit. And also gift guides that people are putting up all around the internet. I am adding to that list as I see new things pop up. So check it out. If you looked at it before, look at it again, because there may be more things on there. And that's it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. We hope you enjoyed it and that you will join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes on parentingroundabout.com or download them from iTunes. Please subscribe so you can get all our podcasts and mini podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter, where I am at Mamatude, Nicole is at Nicole Eridix, and Catherine is at About Family Fit. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Roundabout Chat, and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram too. Best of all, stop by our blog at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on all the stories we mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Moran for providing our in and out music, and I wish everybody a great week.